Hey everyone, Michelle here and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my July wrap up. If you've seen my weekly reading vlogs, you'll know July went fantastically. I decided not to do a TBR for July, I just mood read and that was the best thing I could have done. In June, as you'll probably know, I had a bit of a reading slump. So I decided not to set a TBR to get me out of it. And yeah, like I said, went fantastic. The first book of the month was The Escape Room by Megan Goldin. You follow 4 team members who get trapped in an elevator escape room and things may not be what they seem. 3 stars. It was an interesting concept, not gonna lie, it was a bit predictable. Didn't really care about the characters and would have liked the ending to be explored a little more because the way it was ended and what happened to one character. I know it's fiction and you know anything can happen in a fictional world, but it was kind of set in real life, if that makes sense. So what this character did, they probably wouldn't be able to get away with it as far as they did. But yeah, 3 stars. Book number 2 was Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. In this book you follow Elsie, who is a theoretical physicist by day, but by night she is a fake girlfriend. Everything is going swimmingly until she meets the annoyingly attractive and arrogant older brother of her favourite client, who turns out to be the reason why her mentor's career was ruined and undermined the reputation of theorists. I love Ali's book, 5 stars. You always have the greenest flags of men who fall for these women who are convinced they're not lovable, and it's just them realising that they can have it all, the career and the guy, and I love it. Yes, a lot of her books follow the same, but they all follow the same kind of things, that, you know, enemies, I'll say, to lovers, or like equated to lovers. I don't care. I just want to read the greenest of flags falling for these amazing women who have no self-worth. Maybe hoping that will happen to me one day. Book number 3 was Snore by John Banville. I give this 3 stars. Nothing really happened in this book that I didn't expect. There were some red herrings that were quite obvious. This is the first book in a series, but I won't be continuing with it. I haven't even told you what it's about. Tried to summarise. Detective goes to the countryside of Ireland because a priest gets killed in an aristocrat's home, and they has to figure out how this happened and what happened. Yeah, like I said, a bit predictable. If you saw my weekly vlog, you will know why predictable. Book number 4 and the first hardback of the month was The Only One Left by Riley Sagar. I will read the synopsis because it's short and sweet. When the Hope family was massacred decades ago, Leonora Hope was the only one left alive after the tragic night. Mute, paralysed and confined to a wheelchair, she's never been able to tell her side of the story until her new living caregiver Kit brings her a typewriter and with one finger she writes, "I want to tell you everything." I loved the thriller and horror-esque vibes of this book. I love Riley Sagar as a thriller author. I gave this book 4 stars. Some of my suspicions were correct, some of them weren't. This all happens within a week, and I wish it had kind of been spread out longer because of how quickly our character finds out everything. It's like, in a week, a bit of a stretch. And the character, well, the surprising character that kind of is connected to everything, was a little bit obvious once you realise where these clues were adding up to. Book number 5 was The Sun and the Star by Rick Riordan and Mark Ashiro, 5 stars. I love the Percy Jackson world. I love Will and Nico, the 2 characters that you follow in this book. In this book, Nico receives a prophecy to go and rescue someone from Tartarus, and Will follows him. And like I said, I love this world. It's not a book about the prophecy in my eyes, it's a book about Nico and Will developing their relationship between each other and how the sun and the star can work the differences out and live happily ever after in my own eyes. Yeah, I love the development of the characters. I love the development of this world. There is one or two surprising encounters where I'm like, wow, I didn't expect you to say that or that to happen. But it just shows how well developed these characters are, even if they only appear in one scene. Minor spoiler, I want more Hades and Persephone. I love their scenes. Book number 6 was another Riley Sagar book, Lock Every Door, 4 stars. You follow Jules, who gets a new job as an apartment sitter at the Bartholomew, one of Manhattan's most high-profile private buildings and home to the rich and famous. There are some really weird terms. She's not allowed any visitors, she can't leave the apartment overnight, and she can't really speak to any of the other residents. And she realises weird things are going on with the previous apartment sitters. I knew who the big bad was in this book, but it was still enjoyable to get to the end to find out how our character finds out who the big bad was. I'm quite surprised at how quickly the big bad revealed everything to our main character. I know they thought she would pass away, but she's gone further than anyone else had, so maybe she wasn't. And there was 2 open endings for a couple of characters. I would have loved to have known what happened to the first missing character, and the other one at the end. It'd be nice to have justice, but I understand why Riley left it open-ended for that one. Book number 7 was Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments by T.L. Hoochu, the sequel to the Edinburgh Library. The Library of the Dead, part of the Edinburgh Night series. So I'm not really going to read a synopsis for this one because it is a little bit spoilerish for the first one, so yeah. I did give the first book 3.5 stars. Surprisingly, I enjoyed this one more. I gave it 4. I did struggle with the first 30% of this book, but I do believe in part that was because of how long it's been since I read the first book. But once I got through that 30%, I was hooked and just read. I love the development of these characters and this world from the first book, and it built on what we already knew of the magic from the first book. There was some new magic introduced. I wish that would have been expanded on. It was a bit like, here's dark magic, we'll mention it a couple of times, that's it. And there was kind of like a bit of an explanation as to some of the new magic, but I wish again that had been expanded on. And a bit like a couple of the other books on this wrap up, it was wrapped up a little bit too quickly for me. Reading this book was obviously going to be the deciding maker if I carried on, because the third book has been released. It was released at the end of July, I had to say June for some reason, and because I got these from Goldsboro, if I want to carry on reading, I would want the Goldsboro special edition. When I last checked, it was still available, so I'm hoping that will still be the case in a couple of weeks and I can buy it and hopefully not wait like a year and a half to read the third one. Book number 8 was Beyond the Story by BTS and Myung-suk Kang, 5 stars. This is basically BTS telling you their journey for the past 10 years in their own words and getting the background on some of their songs, and Myung-suk Kang is an interviewer who interviewed them for over 3 years, giving a bit more of an outsider's element to this story. Like I said, 5 stars. I am very new to the K-pop world. I knew a couple of K-pop songs because I have loved Blackpink and Twice for years. I liked a couple of BTS songs, but they weren't my ultimate group. But because I'm diving more into that world, I did want to read their book, and my friend and her partner got me it for my birthday. I loved it. I loved reading how these men go from boys to men, and how their relationship with music and each other and their fans has developed, and how in their own words they kind of never changed, and how some of their actions are down to how they were treated as rookies, and the meaning behind some of their songs was quite surprising as well. I've always been a bit awed, I will say, by the relationship between BTS and their fans, which are called ARMY. And reading this, realising how many songs they wrote with ARMY in mind and how they kind of loved their fans from the start was quite nice. And I know some people will be like, oh yeah, of course they wrote it after their fans. They were quite honest in this book, especially with their mental health and how they nearly disbanded and things. It was quite refreshing. So it was one of those where it was like, you've been quite open and honest about everything else, so why would you lie about this? I have listened to more of their music since reading this book. I have started listening to some of their solos because they have now started their military process. If you're unaware, in Korea, it's mandatory for male members of the population between the ages of 18 and 30 to join the army for 2 years, and BTS have started doing that. So for me, I think I've started getting more into them at the right time. And it's something in the K-pop world that said that is, you're never too late to your favourite band or soloist. You found them at the time you needed them. Like I said, not my ultimate group, but a really enjoyable read, and I look forward to reading more and developing more information about BTS and K-pop world in general. Book number 9 for the month was Streets of Darkness by A.A. Dand, 5 stars. In this book, you follow Detective Harry Verdi, who has been suspended just as the biggest case of the year lands on his team's desk, and he takes to the shadows to search for an ex-convict to restore his reputation. A.A. Dand is the Bradford author. This book is based in Bradford, where I live, and I loved this book. I love knowing that I knew exactly where he was talking about when he'd mentioned streets or areas or shops. The first murder actually happens, well, the first body, I should say, is found at a school down the road from where I went to secondary school, where I've walked past many times. And as soon as I read that, I was like, I'm hooked. This is the start of a series. For me, this is the perfect debut for a crime author. Because the characters are well developed, the background is set really well within 400 pages, and it makes you want to read the next book as soon as possible. If I didn't have loads of books already in my TBR, I would have so gone and bought the sequel. But this will be a series I will continue, and I can imagine myself at the end of the year doing my big bookshop, buying book 2, 3 and possibly 4 if they're in Watson's. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but book number 10 of the month was The Shadows of Men by Abir Mukherjee, book 5 in the Wyndham and Banerjee series, 5 stars. While this is the 5th book in a series, it can be read as a standalone, nothing is spoiled. But you basically follow Captain Sam Wyndham and Sergeant Surendranath Banerjee, tracking down those responsible for the death of a Hindu theologian, which puts the city on the brink of all-out religious war, and in the process, this case could potentially drive our two counterparts apart, well, two friends apart, I should say. I love Abir's writing. He makes you feel like you are actually in 1920s India. I've never been to India. I also wasn't alive in the 1920s. I am convinced now I have travelled to India in the 1920s. I love the relationship between Sam Sarandranath and Annie. I loved seeing that develop a little bit more in this book. And the ending broke my heart. I'm not going to lie. Book 6 hasn't been announced. Abir does have a standalone coming out next year. I have pre-ordered that and I cannot wait to read more from this fabulous author. So you can just about see all 10 books I read this month. I'm not picking them up because, as you see in the thumbnail, they are stacked quite haphazardly, and I dropped them just after I took the thumbnail picture. But a great reading month. Like I said at the beginning, mood reading was the way for me to go, but I think having the last week of July off definitely helped as well. This wrap up has gone on longer than I thought it would, so I will wrap it up now. Yeah, great read the month. If you have read any of these books that I read and you have similar thoughts, you have different thoughts, you want to talk about it, comment down below, comment on Instagram, or come join me on Goodreads. If you like this video, please give it a like. If you are new to my channel, Hi, my name is Michelle. My reading, like my life, is a chaotic mess and I'm trying to get through it one book at a time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. If you don't want to, that is not an issue. But if you have got to the end of this video, surprise giveaway! To celebrate getting to 50 subscribers this year, I'm now on 63, thank you, hello. I would like to give away a book to a subscriber. So I'm going to have this giveaway open for 2 weeks. It will close on Friday the 1st of September, I was going to say the 4th then. Yeah, this will close on the Friday the 1st September. To enter this giveaway, all I ask is that you subscribe to my channel and you comment down below on this video what is the one book you would love on your wish list. Now, this book can go up to £20. I will send the book via Amazon if you are happy to send me your address, or if you've got a wish list, I'm happy to just buy it off there and it just sends directly to you. I will announce the winner of this giveaway on my vlog the following week of the 1st, so keep an eye out for that as well. Before I wrap up this video properly, I would just like to say thank you so much for being subscribed. I know my uploading has been up and down and I've not got the most thrilling of videos, but it's nice for you to be here and for watching when you do watch, so big thank you for that, and I will let you go on with the rest of your day. Until the next video, bye!